All right, guys, so 90 Day Challengers, this is phase number 2, video number 2. All right, we talked a little bit about phase 2 and about the workout portion and what to do with that. So if you haven't watched that video, go back, watch that first video. All right, so now we're gonna get into the nutrition piece here a little bit. This is a pretty in-depth portion here. So you're gonna need a couple things moving forward. You're gonna need your booklet with your weight and your measurements and your body fat in it. That is key. If you don't have that yet, guys, it's gonna be very hard for you to progress in this. So make sure you have that information in front of you. You're also going to need a calculator, okay? Use your phone, whatever. And you're going to need some paperwork. What I would probably suggest you guys do is do everything rough on a piece of regular paper before you go into your book and start to put it in your booklet, okay? I'm going to show you guys some basic calculations over the side that you can do. And then what I would do is I would do write those basic calculations out and then plug them in. The reason why I would say not to just knock them all out on the back of the book is down the road you're going to need to change and modify those numbers. The stuff on the side is going to stay the same, but the numbers that plug in are going to be different. Okay, so if you write a bunch of stuff in there, you're going to go in and erase, or I would just tell you to keep the calculations there. Okay, so we want to once again have the measurements that we had before. Okay, so quality of food, real quick, is what I want to talk about. Is what we originally started off with. So quality food. Different food items, different things that we enjoy eating, things that we've tried, didn't like. Some of your mentors maybe have given you some recipe ideas and you guys have kind of played around with some stuff, which is all great. But we're talking about quality of food in that first month. Now we're talking about the quantity, okay, of all those quality food items. Taking the foods we like, okay, using those, taking the foods we don't like, X-naying those, okay, and keeping the foods we like, and then knowing how much we want to eat of those quality foods, all right, to get to the word you hear probably a lot, our calories and our macros, okay? Most people know what a calorie is, calories are, so that's good. Macros, what is a macro, okay? So macros fall into three things, all right? Three major macros we're looking at is protein, carbs, and fat. Those are our three, okay? So I'm gonna tell you guys how to calculate those numbers for yourself personally, how to do a more personal program for yourself. The calculations that I would use and I use for a lot of people, I'm gonna show you how to do that. All right, and then explain to you what those macros really mean, how they kind of coordinate to yourself, and give you a little more information about those. All right, so those are the three. When we talk about nutrition plans, and what I'm going to tell you guys moving forward is you're going to have lots of questions for your mentors and for myself probably. If you have questions, I'm going to ask you a couple things. I'm going to ask you what are your macros, where are your calories at. If you don't have those numbers for me, it's going to take a lot longer for me to try to determine on where you're at, why you're messing up, why you haven't lost any weight. So make sure that's in your book somewhere or on a piece of paper that goes with your book, and make sure you're keeping track of it for future reference if you have questions, okay? So real quick thing I want to touch on is the macros, okay? So we use P, C, and F a lot, okay? So here, all right? So these macros determine our caloric intake a little bit, all right? Or quite a bit, actually. So what I want to talk about is for every 1 gram of protein and 1 gram of carb, okay, those yield a certain amount of calories, all right? So this is something that I want you to write down, okay? This will help you understand a little bit where some of your calories are coming from. So we have 1 gram of protein here. So 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. All right. So we also have 1 gram of carb here. Okay, it equals 4 calories as well. And then we have 1 gram of fat. This equals 9 calories. Okay. So that is why a lot of times fatty items, okay, yield a lot more calorie intake than carb and protein items. Okay. So if you think about that, I can eat 2 grams of protein and still be less calories than 1 gram of fat. So it's pretty important. So for a lot of you guys that are talking about how you're hungry and you have these hunger sensations, your macros are probably off if that's the case. We shouldn't be extremely hungry right now at this point. Now some of you guys are talking about how you feel like you're eating too much. Once again, macros may be a little off, or it may be that it's been so long since you've ate close to the calories you need that you don't really feel, or you feel like you're eating so much, okay? So you've been so calorie deficient for so long that eating the calories you need is going to feel like a lot, okay? So once again, you want to figure out your macros, and that's what we're going to work on moving forward here, okay? So check out video number 3. We talk about determining your calories and determining your macros.